epitome of a roller coaster. I've had a fair share of ups, of many ups and a handful of downs, and I couldn't be happier to know that with all the success and failures I've had here at the university, it has prepared me for life in general. I can't express how grateful I am to have attended the greatest school in college. But the biggest thing I remember with my time here are the memories that I've made with all my friends, family, and loved ones.
Tua heading to the NFL draft. That was on ESPN, that press conference. Here's what the top 10 looks like. Cincinnati's locked in at number 1. Bengals may need a quarterback. Redskins seemingly found theirs. Matthew Stafford's in Detroit. Daniel Jones is in New York. The Dolphins are sitting there at 5. Again, April 23rd, Las Vegas, Nevada, NFL Network. Tua declares for the 2020 NFL. Packers for 12-plus seasons, takes a year off, and now is back as head coach of the Cowboys. Nothing official out of Frisco today, but our Ian Rappaport and Jane Slater are telling you that it is Mike McCarthy to replace Jason Garrett, who was there for 9 seasons, 3 of which were in the postseason, 6 of which ended early. Brad Sham has been with the Cowboys for 39 years. My name is Andrew Siciliano. Brad's the voice of the Cowboys, and he joins us live on NFL Now. Brad, you've seen every Cowboys head coach. Why is Mike McCarthy the next one?
I think his track record, Andrew, and I think that his experience in the NFL is something that they value. He's got skins on the wall. Sometimes, and I'm not sure that this didn't happen with both McCarthy in Green Bay and Garrett here. Sometimes the room needs a different voice. And in college, they're there for 3 or 4 years and they're gone. And sometimes when you're around guys for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, they've heard all your stories. And I think that one of the things that McCarthy did that is somewhat impressive, at least to me, is what he did with his year off. It's been well chronicled, including on NFL Network, what he did to create the McCarthy Project and keep himself into the game. But he sounds like he's been very open to examining what things he might do differently the next time. My guess is that he would tell you that he values the opportunity more than ever, and he thought he valued it 100% when he got to Green Bay. So, I think the skins on the wall and the experience be the biggest reasons.
And good job teasing that, Brad. The Tom Pelissero sit-down with Mike McCarthy is coming up in about 10 minutes here on NFL Now. Brad, why do you think, and obviously he won in this league, Mike McCarthy is a winner in this league. Why do you think, though, that Jerry didn't go the college route as so many loved to speculate over the last year?
Speculation's cheap and easy, and I don't know that anybody ever got that from him. He's done it both ways. He feels, I do know this, he feels like he invested a lot in developing Jason Garrett as a head coach and wound up having to not renew someone who he considers like family to him. That didn't work out. I don't think he wanted to train anyone. And whether that would have been necessary or not, who would ever know? Some college coaches out there have some professional experience, and so it wouldn't have been completely training, but he felt like the important thing was to have somebody who really understood how to be a successful head coach in the NFL. Jerry's not getting any younger. None of us is. And I think that he feels like, whether he's right or wrong, we'll find out. But he feels like he's got a team that is ready to win.
Do you think, or do you know, Brad, if Jerry told Mike McCarthy that he needs to keep Kellen Moore?
I certainly don't know, and I haven't talked to any of the Joneses in the past week. It'll be interesting to see how clean a slate there is. I have talked to some people who know Coach McCarthy, who believe that there are some people that he, on the offensive side of the ball, that he would like to bring with him. but whether the Cowboys have talked about to him about Kellen Moore or Gary Brown or Mark Colombo or Sanjay Lal, they've got some really good coaches on that side of the ball, and I have no idea how that's entered into their conversations.
Brad, I'm sure you've been asked this before when walking down the street in Dallas or getting a cup of coffee or seeing family over the holidays. In your words, what happened this past week between the Joneses and Jason Garrett, and why did it take so long?
You know, maybe it didn't take so long. It seemed like it took so long to everybody who's on the outside and not involved with it. I'm telling you, Andrew, this was a personal relationship that the Jones family, not just Jerry, had with Jason Garrett. And his contract was about to expire. I think they wanted to afford him every possible respect in terms of going out the way he wanted to go out, and he didn't want to go out. And I don't know of any head coach who has ever not been rehired who wanted to go out. And if you understand the personal relationship, then to me it was somewhat understandable. It looked a little awkward from the outside. If you understand the personal relationship, then to me I don't think that it was that unusual, and you can see how quickly they moved to get somebody new.
Brad, do you think Jason would be a candidate in New York, or does he do the Mike McCarthy thing and say, I'm going to reboot and come back rested and ready in 2021?
Well, I think he's ready now. I don't think he's looking to do that. McCarthy, don't forget, was released before the end of the season. I know that Jason and his wife Brill loved their time in New York. He's got family in New Jersey. I should also add that he's originally from Ohio, so you can throw that into the mix too. But I know that they loved their time in New York, and I believe the Giants think very highly of him, and I think that would be a natural fit.
Brad Sham, I cut you short earlier, or sold you short. I said 39 years, 41 years with the Dallas Cowboys. The great voice of the Cowboys, taking some time on undoubtedly what was a day off. Brad, I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you and the family.
Thanks, Andrew. Happy New Year to you, too.
Brad Sham, voice of the Cowboys. Jason Garrett out and Mike McCarthy is in. Here's what the Cowboys have done the last 4 seasons. They've averaged 10 wins, but that's not good enough to win more than 1 game in any postseason. Beat the Seahawks last year, fell to the Rams here in a somewhat one-sided game in L.A. as L.A. was on. Welcome you in a little early on NFL Now today. Hope you had a great wild card weekend, sat on the couch, maybe got some fresh air, watched the games. We'll tell you everything you need to know about divisional weekend coming up shortly. My name is Andrew Siciliano. We're here for an extra hour today at noon Eastern, 9 here in our newsroom in Los Angeles that has been working around the clock because it did not take Jerry Jones very long to find his new head coach. The Jason Garrett press release, as awkward as it may have sounded, was sent shortly before 6 o'clock local, 6 o'clock central last night. And now this morning, we can tell you that they will hire Mike McCarthy, who was fired after Week 13 last year in his 13th season as head coach of the Green Bay Packers. He will replace Jason Garrett after the Cowboys missed the playoffs again for the 6th time in 9 seasons under Garrett. Ian Rappaport, James Slater, both working around the clock. Wild card weekend on this story, and actually on the watch for the last week. And it's finally done. Now, Jason Garrett out, Mike McCarthy in. Ian, tell me how this whole thing came together.
Well, we were all spending time wondering, when were the Cowboys officially going to fire Jason Garrett? Here's what the Cowboys did. First of all, they knew Jason Garrett was not going to return. It sounded like he knew he was not going to return. So under some shrouds of secrecy, the Cowboys began interviewing. They brought in Marvin Lewis, the former Bengals head coach, clearly with a focus on some veteran former NFL head coaches in their search. They talked to Marvin Lewis, and then they brought in Mike McCarthy, who was on a plane Saturday morning. And as far as we can tell, that was it. I know they spoke to McCarthy on Saturday. He actually stayed on Sunday. And at that point, when he stayed the extra day, it became very clear what the Cowboys were doing. Finally, during the Eagles playoff game, of course, they announced that Jason Garrett was going to be